Irina Heaver here from freezing Switzerland. I'm in the Swiss mountains. That's why I'm wearing this much clothes. And Roger Ver has joined us from a beautiful tropical location, and we can see the blue sky. And he's not wearing much there. Hi, Roger. Thank you very much for joining Digital Week Online.
Hi, Irina. Thanks for having me.
Roger, you've been quite passionate and loud advocate for banking the unbanked population and bringing crypto to the masses. And one of the reasons that we have BCH today is your initial disagreement with the block sizes, and in order to improve that adoption and the usability part of it. I'm from Dubai, and in the Middle East, we have over 570 million people, and only 14% are banked. Can you let us know what's your view on getting people banked, getting people participate in commerce and trade through the use of crypto? And of course, you can advocate for BCH, your favorite coin, as I can understand.
Yeah, my favorite coin is whatever works and works for people all around the world. And so that's why I like BCH. I don't like it because it's BCH. I like it because it works. And actually, even interesting that you should mention this earlier today, I had to send a traditional bank wire transfer to a bank in Dubai. And it's a huge headache. It'll probably take 36 hours for them to receive the money. And I don't know what the bank's going to charge me to send that. And unfortunately, the entity that I'm paying isn't set up to accept cryptocurrency payments yet, but they're looking at it and they know what a giant headache it is. And even the bank account that I'm sending the money to, the person that owns that, they have to keep some giant minimum balance that it makes sense to use it. Whereas Bitcoin Cash, with the fees being a fraction of a penny, I can send from, I'm here in the Caribbean, I can send, a penny from here to Dubai, and it wouldn't be a problem. If I wanted to send even $100 from here to Dubai using Bitcoin, the fees are going to be so high that it's not really practical to do that. So I'm a fan of whatever works to enable people anywhere on the planet to be able to send and receive any amount of money without needing permission from a bank or a government or this and that. And it was somebody else that said it, but I thought it was such a good line. In the early days of crypto, they were talking about, we're going to bank the unbanked, but it's kind of the reverse. We're going to unbank the banked. We're going to make it so people don't even need a bank account anymore, and they can do everything in their lives in crypto. And I thought that was such an interesting slogan. I think it was from the guys behind another token project. I feel horrible that I can't give them credit directly, but they made a t-shirt that says "Unbank the Banked," and that's basically what we're doing. Is we're making it so everybody can be their own bank, and you don't need to deal with the banks. You have complete control over your own money, and Bitcoin Cash enables that today, and hopefully additional cryptocurrencies will enable that in the future as well.
I was getting ready to today's interview, and I just checked that to send BCH, the fees are under 1 cent, around 1 cent, but to send Bitcoin, the fees are around $19, and to send Ethereum, it's $15. But isn't it true that there's not much activity happening on the BCH network? That's why the fees are so low. And if we look back, for example, a few months ago, and then there were a lot of activity, the fees were much higher.
No, that's not true. In fact, if you look at the networks right now today, there are more transactions happening each and every day on top of Bitcoin Cash than there are on Bitcoin, which proves that the entire narrative of the Bitcoin maximalists that you can't scale and that we have to have high fees was absolute nonsense. Bitcoin Cash is processing somewhere in the ballpark of 5 or 10% more transactions each and every day than Bitcoin is. And the fees are still less than a penny, and they're going to continue to be that way. And that's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin Cash. I think the rest of the world hasn't really figured out yet that Bitcoin Cash has all the characteristics that made Bitcoin popular to begin with. And the thing that everybody's calling Bitcoin today no longer has those characteristics. And at some point, we're going to see a mass flow of capital from Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash because it works for everybody all over the planet. Rich or poor, young or old, black or white, Bitcoin Cash is for everybody. Whereas Bitcoin at this point is only for people that already have a bunch of money living in first world countries that can afford to pay the $19 fees, as you mentioned today.
So Talking about the flow of capital, we have seen a few big companies, big name companies, Elon with Tesla and Michael with MicroStrategy putting more and more of their treasury into Bitcoin. But was Bitcoin designed to be that digital rock sitting on the treasuries of already multi-billion-dollar companies and doing nothing? Was Bitcoin designed for that?
Yeah, to answer that question, all anyone has to do is read the original Bitcoin white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. And it's very clear that Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And then if you read the rest of the white paper, it talks about using it for e-commerce and small payments and all sorts of stuff. That's Bitcoin Cash today. It's not what everyone's calling Bitcoin. And so in the long term, people will use whatever is the medium of exchange as their store of value. So I think we'll see the Teslas and even the MicroStrategies in the future switching over to things that actually work in commerce for payments like Bitcoin Cash.
But for now, it is being used as an Bitcoin is being used as an asset to preserve value, not an asset, not a payment method, not something to transact with other people. Do you see that? But Bitcoin Cash, for example, can be used as a payment method and to transact with other people. So are you now saying that Bitcoin Cash in the future can be a store of value as well?
Yeah, I think the one that is used in transaction is the one that winds up being used as a store of value. So you're in Switzerland at the moment. Everybody uses the Swiss francs as their medium of exchange to pay for everything. And everybody uses the Swiss franc as their store of value in Switzerland. In the rest of Europe, everyone pays for everything with euros and saves their money in euros. In the United States, they use dollars to buy everything and they save their money in dollars. If the entire world starts using Bitcoin Cash or some other cryptocurrency to pay for everything, that's going to be the same currency that they use to store their value in as well. And I think Bitcoin has been doing itself a real big disservice by shutting the use case of actual payments and having it be used in commerce.
But that has not happened with gold, for example. Gold is being used as a store of value, and centuries ago it was used as a medium of exchange, but it's not being used as a medium of exchange anymore. So you don't see how BCH and BTC can coexist in...
The difference is that gold has all sorts of industrial use cases. So I'm sure there's some gold in the computer that I'm talking to you on. There's gold in every cell phone and all sorts of actual industrial use cases. Bitcoin, I don't know what its use case is other than allegedly being a store of value. Okay. Bitcoin Cash can work just as well as a store of value because it's equally scarce, but it works far better as a medium of exchange because the payments are fast, cheap, and reliable, unlike Bitcoin with its slow, expensive, and unreliable payments. That's a huge, important difference that people need to understand. And actually another absolute visionary in the world of the internet, Kim.com, recently built a website called whybitcoincash.com. That's a fantastic website built by one of the true visionaries of a true pioneer of the internet there, and you can visit that at whybitcoincash.com, and it really does a fantastic job of explaining why Bitcoin Cash is likely to be the future.
Okay, we all know how you feel about Bitcoin Cash, so let's go back to our unbanked 570 million population in the Middle East. This is my home. This is the people I care about. And if other countries can stop interfering in the Middle East, that would be fabulous and fantastic. And I would really appreciate that very much. And so let's go back to our unbanked 570 million people. And let's, without making a distinction between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, let's talk about how can crypto unbank the banked already, but also, mainly help the unbanked population. Some population is unbankable. They don't have documents. They don't have shoes to go to a bank to open a bank account. They don't have, in some countries, they don't have a bank. Like, for example, the population, some areas in Palestine, they are completely prevented from crossing the road to a nearest bank. So how can crypto and what innovation do we still need to bring into crypto to help those people?
Well, you need to have a cryptocurrency that actually works as a currency for payments, meaning the fees have to be low enough. The reason, if somebody can't open a bank account today, they're not going to be able to use a crypto bank account. And that's what people, if the fees are high, people have to use crypto bank accounts because they can't afford to transact in the crypto directly Well, if a normal bank's not going to open an account for one of these people, why do you think they're going to open a crypto account for one of these people? And that's why it's so important for cryptocurrencies to be usable as currencies with fast, cheap, reliable on-chain transactions, so that anybody in the world, whether they're in Palestine or Iraq or Iran or anywhere in the entire world, whether it's the Middle East or anywhere else, can afford to use it. And that's what we have with a number of different cryptocurrencies out there. But it breaks my heart to say it, but Bitcoin is no longer one of them. Everybody's having to use the equivalent of Bitcoin banks. And if the normal bank account's not going to open an account for you, they're not going to open one for you for using Bitcoin either. So it doesn't help.
What do you mean by Bitcoin banks?
So when the fees become really high on Bitcoin, people don't want to send or receive payments with it. So what they do is they leave it with custodian exchanges or custodian platforms like your Binance or your Coinbase or something like that. And those platforms are great. They provide a service, but they have to KYC every customer. They have to get permissions from governments to allow those people to trade on their platform. And then they become a giant target for hackers. So historically in the world of Bitcoin, everybody thought Mt. Gox was just fine. It turned out they had been running a fractional reserve Bitcoin bank for years. And it wasn't until the entire thing exploded that people realized that it wasn't just fine. And that thing can happen over and over again when people are forced into using custodial platforms, the equivalent of Bitcoin banks, to hold their cryptocurrency for them. Whereas with Bitcoin Cash, with a fee being a fraction of a penny, people can hold the money themselves on their own device, and they don't have to worry about it, whether or not Coinbase is running fractional reserve or Mt. Gox is about to go, bankrupt. They don't have to worry about it. They have the money themselves. And they also don't have to worry about, like we've seen in the US, the US government came in and seized all the gold from private gold holders historically. What makes you think that they wouldn't do the same thing with cryptocurrency? If you have a bunch of custodians holding everybody's cryptocurrency in a centralized institution, the US government or any other government in any other country can go in and say, hey, give us half of all the Bitcoin you're holding for these people. Whereas if it's Bitcoin Cash where people can hold it themselves and the fees aren't too high, there's no place a government could go to seize some of it. And I'm totally with you in regards to let's get not just the US government, from every government, stop them from meddling in the Middle East and meddling in the lives of everybody all over the planet. If we have actual cryptocurrency that works as currency, it takes away government's ability to meddle with what they're doing with their money. And that's a great thing for all of human civilization.
So talking about the crypto custodians and the crypto banks, as you call them, that's right. I do not want to keep my Bitcoin with somebody else. That's the whole point of it. I have to use that. But also the fees are high. So what are people using right now? Or they're trying to, improve on the Lightning Network. So what do you think about that additional layer that can make things more usable?
Yeah, I think the Lightning Network people are doing a huge disservice to the world by calling so many of their offerings Lightning Network wallets. If you actually look at what they are, they're not wallets, right? A wallet is something like this, where I have the money inside the actual wallet. What all these people with, Lightning Network, quote unquote wallets are using, they're using custodial services. They're using Bitcoin banks. And the bank is just pretending that they're doing things on the Lightning Network. Well, if you're having to use a custodian to transact on the Lightning Network for you, you might as well just continue using your bank or your PayPal account. And it's really frustrating to see just how many people on social media don't understand that, like, for example, the wallet of Satoshi. It's not a wallet, it's a Bitcoin bank. So you really are missing out on pretty much all the benefits of cryptocurrencies if you're having to use a custodian to do everything for you. Your account can be frozen at any time. The custodian could be hacked. Your funds could be fractional reserve the whole time. If you're not able to transact directly on chain with the cryptocurrency, you're missing out on most of the advantages. And so I think Lightning Network has been this giant bait and switch for the world. It's been one of the biggest hyped vaporware products ever, and it's really disappointing to see how many people have been fooled by that.
So I guess you're not planning to implement it anytime soon on Bitcoin Cash blockchain. What about any other innovation, additional privacy layers, or anything that you're planning to bring onto Bitcoin Cash?
So I helped start blockchain.com, and in 2013 or so, we had a really fantastic service inside the wallet there. I think we called it Shared Coin, and basically it was shuffling up your Bitcoin with everybody else's Bitcoin to give you quite a bit of additional privacy on chain. So these blockchain analytics companies can't spy on everything you're doing and report it and sell it to who knows what to do, who knows what to you. That became impossible to do on Bitcoin because of the high fees. Now Bitcoin Cash has effectively the same thing, but it's been improved because the technology has gotten even better over the years. And it's called Cash Fusion. You can get it right now. You can go to Cash Fusion, either .com or .org. I always forget which one it is, and download it for your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now today. It's a fantastic tool to give you really, really strong privacy on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. And it's sad, Bitcoin technologically can have it, but it can't have it because the fees are too high. It would cost you hundreds or $1,000 plus to shuffle up your coins every time on Bitcoin, whereas on Bitcoin Cash, it's a fraction of a penny. And so people are willing to spend a fraction of a penny for privacy. They're not willing to spend $1,000 for privacy. So that's another example of how Bitcoin Cash can help bring more economic freedom and more economic privacy to the world.
Any other innovation that you want to share with us? That was
Tokens,
a good point.
Of course. So Bitcoin Cash has tokens as well. USDT is the most well-known token, but there's another one I really love called Flex USD. And because the fees are so cheap on Bitcoin Cash, Flex USD has your dollars on deposit with them, but then every 8 hours, they pay you interest directly to the coins that are in your wallet. So your Flex USD address on the blockchain receives interest right there, paid out on chain. That's something that's not possible to do on Bitcoin because of the high fees. And it's being a problem with Ethereum too because of their high fees. Flex USD, I think, is probably the coolest stable coin in the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. They literally pay interest right there on chain to your wallet. And because it's not a scam, the interest rate isn't that high. You're getting maybe 3 or 4% interest, but like that's still amazing. That's a lot more than PayPal or your bank or anybody else is going to pay you. That's not some multi-level Ponzi scheme on the internet. So, and buyer beware. Watch out for. There's lots of people that'll try and scam your cryptocurrency away from you on the internet.
Yes, we all familiar with that. I receive a message from a fake Roger Ver at least once a week, offering 1,000,000% per month on my crypto.
Per month, okay.
Yeah. So
they offer me today.
Sorry.
I said they offer me 1,000,000% a day when the scammers contact me.
You see, you attract much better scammers. So, what about smart contracts? Are you planning to implement? Is there a smart contract that can be run on BCH now? Some, NFTs is now the flavor of the month. Any innovation you're planning to bring in that regard?
Bitcoin Cash already has all of that. You can make your own NFT right now in like 30 seconds over at mint.bitcoin.com. And then there's also DeFi. You have all the DeFi is on Bitcoin Cash right now. You can go to dtoken.net, detoken.net, and take a look at that. And you can, go long, go short, you earn interest, you all that stuff right there on top of Bitcoin Cash. And probably the biggest interesting thing that just got announced maybe a week ago, and I'll need to do some more reading about it, is something that it's a bunch of Chinese developers came up with it, so they probably should have chosen a bit more friendly name in English, but it's called Mowing Chain, MOEING, and it's a side chain for Bitcoin Cash that allows you to run the entire Ethereum virtual machine there. And the current gas limit on Ethereum, I think, is about 12 million. This will allow you to have a 1 billion gas limit. So I'll have to get out the calculator to even figure out how many more times that gas limit is on top of Mowing Chain. So any existing Ethereum smart contract will be able to be run on top of Bitcoin Cash, the Mowing side chain. But the native token is Bitcoin Cash for this. So I think that's a really big deal and a fantastic way to be able to scale the concept of Ethereum from a 12 million gas limit to a 1 billion gas limit. And that's launching imminently. I think they're talking about having that come out in May, which is pretty darn soon.
Well, that's very good. Some of the things you're mentioning, I have not heard, and I am, full-time in crypto. So what are you doing to let people know about all these things that are existing? And especially, let's focus on my people in the Middle East. We're 470 million strong. So what are you doing to bring that to maybe not you personally, but your community or your advocates to bring it down to the people?
Well, I'll show you guys. So anybody that's in the Middle East or anywhere else in the world, if you email free, FREE at bitcoin.com and mention this specific video, I'll send you $1 in Bitcoin Cash on chain right there to your wallet. Just send an email to, again, free at bitcoin.com and mention this specific video, and we'll send you the funds just like that on chain. You can't do that with Bitcoin. You can't do that with Ethereum. You can't do that with any chain that has high fees. Bitcoin Cash is money for everyone, everywhere, and especially people in the Middle East or people that don't have bank accounts already. And I think the most powerful demonstration of cryptocurrencies for people to actually use it and see firsthand just how effective a tool it is to empower you to be able to engage in commerce with people all over the world. I wouldn't be able to send you $1 with my bank account. I wouldn't be able to do it with PayPal or credit card or anything else. Bitcoin Cash enables it, and I'm happy to share that with you. So again, send that email to free, FREE, @bitcoin.com and mention this video, and I'll send you $1 worth of Bitcoin Cash, which someday may end up being worth over $1,000 someday as well.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for that. Let's see what else I can wrestle out of you today. Let's now talk about one of the things that I am super passionate about, women in the crypto industry. When I started being invited to crypto events, I honestly would be the only woman on stage. I mean, it was great because there was no toilet line, as normally there is for women at the events, but I've just felt absolutely horrible. You know, this crypto bro, I was uncomfortable, and I come from the oil and gas industry. I got used to being the only woman on a drilling rig, and I absolutely don't feel intimidated. But those events were not fun. It's getting better and better already. There are wonderful women doing wonderful, amazing things in the crypto and blockchain industry. But unfortunately, less than 9% of crypto users are women. What needs to happen apart from, manually onboarding women like you do, or manually onboarding people like you do? What needs to happen to change that ratio? Because no industry is sustainable with less, with such a miserable participation of women.
Yeah, I think more women need to know about it and find out what interests them about it, and then get involved. So it's up to each individual out there to be involved themselves and get their friends and family, both men and women around them, involved in this. So if you think it's something that somebody would like, set them up with a wallet, send them a little bit, show them how it works, and invite them to the party, because this is truly one of the most important inventions in the history of humankind, and it's still early days. So let's invite our friends and family of both sexes to get involved in this right away.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And the last question, do you think, knowing how passionate you are about Bitcoin Cash and knowing about your strong opinions about Bitcoin, do you think these two things can coexist? Why is it a zero-sum game? Why can't there be a use case for one coin and a use case for another coin? Why can't there be a peaceful coexistence?
Yeah, it's not a zero-sum game at all. The market cap of both has been growing and growing and growing. And both have coexisted for years and years and years now. I think the reason there's still so much animosity between the two chains or fans of both chains is the Bitcoin Cash supporters are furious at the Bitcoin supporters, because using censorship and just outright banning anybody who disagreed, they hijacked the entire Bitcoin project for something that doesn't even remotely resemble the Bitcoin that's described in the white paper, and the thing that all the early Bitcoin adopters got excited about. And they did it literally using censorship. They banned anybody that spoke out against it and demonized anybody who didn't. And the Bitcoin people are terrified of the Bitcoin Cash people, because they see Bitcoin Cash of having a real possibility of siphoning away a huge amount of the market cap from Bitcoin holders. Once people figure out, oh, wait, Bitcoin Cash actually works as money, Bitcoin no longer does. Once people figure that out, a lot of them are going to swap a lot more of their money from Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash. And that's why to this very day, the Bitcoin Cash community is busy engaging in censorship to prevent people from telling people the truth about Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash has the characteristics that made Bitcoin popular to begin with. Bitcoin is Bitcoin in name only. It doesn't have the user experience that made it popular to begin with. And that's why two of the biggest supporters ever of Bitcoin, myself and Jihan Wu, the founder of Bitmain and the owner of BTC.com, and myself, the owner of Bitcoin.com, we're busy promoting Bitcoin Cash today, because it actually works. And it's the project that we fell in love with over a decade ago. I've been involved over a decade. I never changed my message the entire time. My entire goal from day one has been peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. So I didn't leave Bitcoin. The thing with the BTC ticker symbol left Bitcoin, but managed to steal the Bitcoin name and have go with it. So there's still a lot of passion on both sides because of that, and animosity because of that fraud and deception that happened using censorship on the Bitcoin side.
So I'm a Bitcoin person, but I have no animosity against anybody. And I think that it's time everybody puts their differences aside and work for the benefit of the, what are we here for? We're not here to benefit ourselves. We're here to benefit, the people we're serving, the community we're serving. So let's
Sorry if I got a little heated there.
You are, and I know how passionate you are, and we love that. I mean, I got into Bitcoin watching your original videos, and I'm talking about, original videos, not something later in your career. So let's think of the way how we can leave this animosity aside, because it does not serve anybody, especially it doesn't serve the new people who are coming in, and we do need new people coming in. Either blockchain, any blockchain needs people coming in. So very last question, I promise. Do you know who Satoshi is?
I don't know, and whoever or wherever he is, he deserves whatever he wants out of life. And if he's out there, he could easily prove it to the world if he really wanted to. So I don't know.
Oshi.